5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, Malaysia. How are you? Hi, Kayatri.
Good morning, Andrea. How are you?
I'm good. You see, the sun is always shining on me in the morning, so I'm super happy and filled with sunshine. And I would like to give it to the other people watching us. You are watching now the Global Empowerment Summit. This is the third week already, but we have still 4 weeks to go. Imagine this, and so much value to share. If you would like to replay all the sessions and watch them, whatever we did the last 2.5 weeks, then please go to the YouTube channel that is on the website globalempowermenthub.com, and you can rewatch the replays. And today we are here with Kayatthri. Kayatthri, tell us a little bit about yourself just to warm up. What's your favorite color and what's your favorite food? Where do you go to relax?
All right. Okay. So, hi, everyone. Good morning. A very good morning. Lovely to be here. And you look absolutely lovely, Andrea. Okay. So, my name is KAYATTHRI. I'm a digital marketing trainer, consultant, as well as a practitioner. I have my own social media agency, blah, 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 and all, right? So, the more important or the more interesting thing is I'm very, very excited to be here to actually add value and to just share some knowledge that on digital that I have, right? So like what Andrea asked, a favorite color and all that. I'm a pink person in and out, so I love pink color. And my favorite food, anything that Malaysian love, I love except for durian. I'm so sorry, Malaysian. I just don't like durian. Okay, so just this thing here. Okay.
Actually, I'm the one who loves durian, so everyone
Durian.
is so
You're more
like.
Malaysian than me.
I mean, everyone from the foreigners who I know, they don't really like it. So I'm like, I know that it's something very weird, but at the end, it reminds me on a Hungarian sweet. So every time I eat it, it's really like a creamy dessert cookie, one of them that we have. So I'm really, really happy. And I'm so waiting for the season again because I couldn't eat enough.
You're more Malaysian than me, Andrea. I've never really tried
Yes,
durian
sikit,
at all.
sikit, sikit, sikit.
Sikit-sikit. Ah, so cute.
So I'm really happy to have you here, Kayatri, and today we have a very, very important topic to talk about. And while the audience is tuning in, let's just warm up for the topic. So we are in an era when digital shift is necessary, and it's also something that we cannot really avoid. And that's our today's topic, that we have to be able to catch up with the speed and to learn more about digitalization and all the tools available, because that's the future. So let's start with your journey. Like, how did you realize that you need to be part of the change, and what were the steps that you took to become digitally savvy?
Okay, so I have been involved in digital for a very long time. Actually, now it's been 13 years I'm involved in digital marketing, right? So what happened in the past when I was part of a marketing team, right? And then the job on digital just came. So the idea was that time my boss he said like we have a Facebook page, just grow the number on Facebook page. So my digital embark on digitalization actually came because I had to create a Facebook page for my company, and we need to start creating, content, and we need to start creating followers on Facebook page. And I'm talking about 13 years, almost 13 years ago. No, sorry, in 2007. If I'm not, it's almost 13 years, I suppose, right? So in 2007, where the environment, the digital environment was so much simpler that time, I would say more than a decade ago. It's not as in depth as now. It's not as complicated as now. But then at that point of a time, what happened is when we started to connect with people that is our target audience, and with very less effort, because what we were doing, right, we have another marketing team, and their work is they need to make cold calls. They have to make cold calls and then get and go and see the prospect, and then they do their sales stuff, the sales pitching, and then need to close the sales. And what we were doing on the marketing side was rather getting these leads coming to us. All right. So, and this kind of leads were the quality leads, I would say, right? They were the right target audience. They were looking for the solution that my company at that time was offering. So it just fits into it perfectly. And what happened is it excites me at that time. It's like, wow, this Facebook, when at that point of time, everyone was just updating stuff, using it as a very much of a social platform. It is a social media platform, right? But not so much into the business sense. It was more of a personal thing. I use Facebook to get connected with my friends, to get connected with my family members. So that was the idea of this social media. But at that point of a time, I saw that, oh, this is much, much more bigger than this, right? So that's where I became like very much involved in digital. And then what happened is another turning point in my life where I joined a social media agency. I joined a social media agency, and then we start working on social media. And our my not our it's my view on social media just changed. So it is no longer a tool where you spend time, waste time, just do some doom scrolling or what, but you use the features in selected Facebook, selected social media platforms to achieve certain goals an organization might have. So that was really, really exciting. And when we start working with big corporate clients, big companies, and achieving their goals, then we know, I was at that part, we know that how important social media was. All right. Then what happened is after that, I became like more involved, and I decided to venture into my own business, social media agency. And then I started from there. Okay. And what happened even after that is I just know that uh, the social media knowledge is just so much, and it is everywhere. And a lot of people who might not be able to hire an agency, but they really need to have this knowledge to grow their businesses, right? Probably some solopreneur, home-based businesses, and very small enterprise, or very we called it a SME, smaller than SMEs, micro organization. So they might need this information, they might need this knowledge. So this is where I ventured into teaching people. I venture into giving them consultation. All right, because like I say, the knowledge is everywhere, and people, the moment you give them a lot of knowledge, just talk about digital transformation. People think it's like a huge thing, it's expensive, it's complicated, and stuff like that. So we come in to give them the right idea, how you can use the platform, the tools, the technology, but the goal is the same goal. You want to grow your business, you want to grow your brand, you want to get connected with your target audience, and how we can do this, right? So basically this is how it got me into, and this is what I've been doing very, very passionately for the past 13 years now.
So it's an interesting view that you were saying that social media is there. I will just mute you because we have a little echo. So social media is there, and you can use it wisely or just for, mindless scrolling. And it's all up to you to choose which one you are doing. So if you are there for a day and you are just scrolling and you don't even know what you are looking for or what you are reading, and you will not even remember because it's too much of information, then you cannot really use it on a positive side. But if you take the advantage to connect with people, to network, I mean, look at this summit, all the people who joined this summit, all the speakers, I know them through social media, and it was just reaching out and building the connections that make it possible to have all that more than 200 people at this summit. So you can make amazing things if you use it as every tool, right, on the right way. What was hard for you in the shift, besides, okay, you were there, okay, you are using it for a positive thing, but there must be something that is also hard, because everything has a you know, a good side and a bad side. Tell us about the ugly side of the social media, and what was your hurdle?
Okay, so I would say, like, social media, the ugly side or my challenge would be, because it is my objective was simple. I want to use social media, digital marketing, not only social media platform, all the digital marketing platforms to help my clients, right? So my challenge would be the clients. Most of the time, it will be from the wise generation, all right? So they just have like hard time adapting to the new changes. So, like, for example, I'll just give you an example. So one of the client that we had, I cannot name them, but they are a well-known insurance company in Malaysia. So it took us close to 3 months, 3 months, to actually convince them that social media is the way to go forward. Because the idea here is, the CEO, he will be saying that, no, I don't want to see negative reviews on my Facebook page. I don't want people to complain about my company, my insurance company and stuff. But the idea here is social media is just like any other platforms. Oh, at that point of time, what the CEO didn't know was they were already getting a lot of negative reviews on their Google, all right, Google review, right? Then it's not something that we can stop. If you have a business, it is normal if for you to get negative reviews, right? We just need to know how to kind of like address it, how to actually manage that new the kind of negative reviews and stuff like that. So it was more of the mindset change that was our challenge in the beginning, and how we can actually convey our message to this wise generation that this is the way moving forward. Even though it took us 3 months, but now they are one of our very strongest client, and they're doing extremely well on their social media platforms, right? That is one. Another thing that also was a challenge even for me, and I'm very sure a lot of people can relate, is the rapid changes that's happening in these digital platforms. Extremely rapid. Like, Facebook is changing every other day. If you guys are actively doing Facebook ads, you will see that a lot of metrics just went missing, and then there's new metrics being added. The way it start tracking, one of the amazing thing about social media marketing is the tracking mechanism. So tracking mechanism is changing, so there's a lot of changes. And for a person who are involved in digital marketing, it is like, the public's perception is, as a digital marketer, we need to know every single thing. I will have, because we are doing a lot of programs, and we have like a few hundred of students in our database and all that. Every other day I will have close to 10-15 inquiries. Miss K, I've done this ads and it's not working, so this is showing, this error is showing. And to tell you the truth, I've never even seen that error. And then when I tell them, let me get back to you, how come you're a digital marketing trainer, how come you don't know that? This kind of challenges come. People need to know that digital platform, there's just a lot of tools involved, so we need to take time to understand it. The moment you see a digital platform appearing, right, just emerging, we don't need to rush into it, and just have that fear of missing out, FOMO thingy happening, and rush into it. All we need to know is, we need to understand, take time to understand why this thing is happening, why do you need to be there, and stuff like that. So my challenges would be, of course, when it comes to the wise generation, getting them to understand. Another one is, when it comes to the bolder generation, with the younger generation, they are just impatient. Impatient. They just need to know the answer now, there and there, kind of a thing, right? So this was some of these challenges that I face personally when it comes to digital things. So of course, personally, we are still adapting to it. We are still learning. There's no way if anyone say they're a Facebook marketing expert, I don't trust. There is no way you can be an expert for a area, for a field that is rapidly changing every day. So how can you claim that you're an expert, right? Yes, we are there, we have some experience, but it's continuous learning. So that's some of the challenges that I face in real. to be honest.
I love it. I love that you mentioned that it's completely changing every day. I remember Facebook when I started, and it was very simple, and I could do it on my own, even the advertisements but the algorithms and all the things that you have to set up in the business manager, it's changing so much, and it's becoming more and more complex. So now I'm thinking, yes, I will need someone to do this for me, because it's just, you don't have time next to your business, next to doing everything, to specialize and learn every little trick what works, and even change and follow the changes. So I'm really, really agreeing with you on this. And a second point, Jagatis is the living example. She's already above 60, and she is just someone who is so savvy, and then trying to catch up and doing everything, and she's always there. She's always thinking about, which is very important today. And I want to ask you about this one too. That, for example, I see on Jagatis that she is going after the things. She is finding out how it works, and she's implementing the things what she learns, and she's practicing them. So basically, this is some kind of a mindset that I find in a lot of people today. It's missing, although it's very necessary, because it's an ever-changing world, right? So what do you think about this? What do you see around you?
Yes, actually, I would want to just say congratulations to Jagadish. But what you mentioned just now, Andrea, uh, getting to know the platform, getting to know about digital medias, all these digital medias is one thing. Then you learn the platform, you try to make some sense out of the platform. And the most important thing, like what you mentioned, that Miss Jagadish here is doing, is she is learning and doing it, practicing on the platform. That is the most important thing. All right. And for the wise, for the older generation, the wiser generation, this is actually lacking also. So when I hear that Miss Jagadish is doing this, Miss Jagadish, if you're listening to this, a big congratulations for you. And I really I think you are good, you are like a example to many out there what it's supposed to be done when it comes to digital marketing, right? So digital marketing or digitalization is actually, it's not like fancy terminology. In fact, it is like what you mentioned, it's no longer an option, but it is a necessity. So what we have to do now is take a bit of time. There's no need to rush. There is no need to rush. But you need to be what you call that, persistent. You need to be persistent in learning this platform. So learn from the right sources, right? So look out for classes, look out for, there's a lot of, in fact, right, if you can't find any classes, that's fine. You have YouTube, you have a lot of websites that's actually teaching how to use a digital platform for marketing purpose. We are only talking about marketing. In fact, when we talk about digitalization, it's not only marketing. All right. So digitalization is like a complete thing. It is actually a way how you can use digital platforms, digital technologies in an organization where the systems, the process, the workflow, and the culture are all transformed, right? So what we are talking about probably only on the digital marketing side. Okay, so this is exactly what I would advise people to do. Get the knowledge and get from the right people. All right, get the knowledge from the right people, the right platforms, the right channels. And then it will only be in your mind, the knowledge will be only be in your mind if you don't use it. So the only way the knowledge comes out and flourish is when you start practicing it. All right. Like what Andrea said, those days Facebook ads was like super duper simple. It's so much easier to use Facebook ads, Power Editor, and all that things. Now what happens now is there's a lot of changes, but trust me, there's no need to be scared of the changes. It is not rocket science. That one I can tell you. It is not rocket science. It is doable. Is it easy? Definitely not easy, but it's doable. It just takes practice, it just takes time, and be persistent. Be persistent, keep on doing it. So you'll be able to do it as well.
Love the encouragement, what you are doing, and I hope people who are watching now or who will watch this video later will also see that, like everything, like when we were kids and we started to walk for the first time, it's really hard at the beginning. You feel that it's hard, but once you try it, once you try again, and you don't give up, you will get closer to the solution, and you are already further than the first step, right? So it will just become the first little step, and then it will encourage you to do more. So that's the first thing, is the very hardest, but then you can go further. And let's talk a little bit about the tools and these resources, and what can people do to become more savvy? What are the steps? What are the tools? What are the resources that are trustable and they can learn a lot there?
Okay, for me, right, it all comes back, because we have like tools for all the areas. It comes back to what is it that you want to achieve from social media or digital marketing. Is it that you want to use it for to grow your brand, or do you want to use it to grow your business? So then your leads, your sales becomes your priority, your objective. If it's going to grow your brand, it could be your professional branding, it also could be your personal branding. So there's different tools for that, right? The tools that are available are very much based on what you want to achieve, right? Like for example, just a very simple example, a lot of there's a lot of opportunities, in fact, in this digital area. So opportunities in the sense of you can use this for your own benefit, and this is where the tools like so digital marketing tools like LinkedIn will be very very useful. Social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. In fact, if anyone is not on TikTok, I would urge them to be on TikTok, only for the reason it has one of the best organic reach. All right, so be on TikTok. So and people might think like, okay, TikTok is silly, it's for the younger generation and stuff like that. It is not. It is not. All you need to know is who is in that platform, what kind of generation or what kind of age group of target audience are there in that platform, and you use that. So in fact, all these social media platforms are tools. All right. The next thing that you need to do is, once you already identify the tools, get help on how to use the tools, because it might be a bit challenging if you want to learn everything yourself. So make use of free courses. In fact, right, guys, there's a lot of free courses that are available now. Like even for myself, I'm working closely with Brickfields Asia College, whereby one of the programs that we do with them, in fact, not one, we are doing like 3 programs with them. And it's not only on digital, they have like a lot of other areas like project management, they have agile management, they have a lot of things, data analytics. So you have a lot of what you call the courses that you can take for free, because one of the objective or goals that Brickfields Asia College has is they want to train at least 10,000 people who were affected during the pandemic. So me as part of the program, so I'm teaching social media marketing, and up to date, I have taught close to 800 participants, and all of them are from a business background, students. A lot of them are from wise generation as well. The oldest participant I had was around 72 years old. So it's amazing. So once you already identify what you want to achieve, and you identify which platform that you want to be in, look out for this kind of courses. Join the courses, enhance your knowledge. Only with that knowledge you'll be able to use the tools. Or if I give you some of the tools, like for example, if you want to look for content marketing, BuzzSumo is an amazing tool. All right. So, but how would you use BuzzSumo if you don't have any idea on how to use the whole platform itself? So get some teaching that in no live teaching like this, or you can also subscribe to channels on YouTube. YouTube is like a mini library of a university. See, you have a lot of things that you can subscribe. You have a lot of things that you can learn from YouTube, and look for courses like Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, Coursera. This is more tools where you can really learn more things about it. My idea is, I keep telling you guys to learn. All right? Why? Because this is actually a challenge. I see a lot of people embarking into this platform without learning much about it. So take your time to sharpen your saw. So sharpen your saw as sharp as possible. Then you can execute your whatever plans that you have. And when you don't sharpen the saw and your saw is not sharp enough and you start chopping whatever that you want to do, right? So what happens here, you won't be able to achieve the goals to the maximum, to its optimum level. And then what happens, we tend to blame the social media platforms, we tend to blame the digital networks. It's not working. Oh, I've done Facebook marketing, I've done Facebook ads, it keep eating my money, but I don't get any results. So I've heard all this, all right? And when we dig deep and see how they perform that Facebook ads, the fundamental itself is wrong. The images used, the target audience, everything is wrong, right? So learn, take the time to learn, all right?
Yeah,
It is very
beautiful. And we have
good.
Simfong here. Thank you, Simfong, for tuning in. He's a very, very amazing person commenting on each and every session. I'm really, really thankful that you give us your insights, because that's why we do this summit, so that we know also from you. And he's saying the platform and the media may change, but the actual concept of marketing remains unchanged. No matter how efficient the means, it can still be a flop if it's not effective. That's true. So how can we be more effective?
And see, this is exactly what you mentioned here, Sinfung Chan. It's amazing. You see, um, people think social media platforms are magic platforms. So the moment they feel like, oh, I'm running an ad, so I need to get the sales. No, it's not like that. Social media platforms are just a tool for you to market your product. The content is important. Your interaction on a business level with your audience is important. The marketing is important, right? Just for example, if I decided to put up a billboard, probably in federal highway where you have like lots of traffic, and I put up a billboard, so this is my service, this is my product, so buy from me now, and that's the advertisement that I put in the billboard. Can I go back to the billboard owner and then I tell, I already put in your billboard, but no one is calling me and inquiring regarding my product, I've already put the advertisement up there? We won't do that, right? But people are doing that when it comes to social media marketing. The moment they run a social media ads, the next question is, I already run my ads for one whole day, why there's no inquiries? See, so this is the mindset needs to change. The platform, it's given to you, it is amazing platform. You want to detail target a person, you can do it. You want to find the right person to deliver your marketing message, it can be done. But how strong is your marketing message? That is the question. How strong is your content marketing? That is the question. If you are able to convince a person, if you are able to educate a person, if you are able to give them some values for them to take an informed decision, then you have done it right. So look back, don't blame the platform. Do not ever blame the platform. Platform is there as a tool. Remember that it is not a magic platform, it's a tool. So what we need to do is work a few steps, just go back a few steps behind and look again. Right target audience, right content marketing, right? Then right platform. If let's say your target audience are like 20 to 30 years old, and they probably be doing some Reels video or TikTok videos in Instagram and Reels, what are you doing on Facebook, for example, right? What are you doing on Pinterest or Twitter when you know that your target audience are very much on TikTok and Instagram, right? So you are actually kind of barking at the wrong tree. Simple put like that. So this is the thing. The media platform, remember, it's a tool. What's more important is our marketing messages. Our delivery is important. All right.
I love that you mentioned to differentiate the content on the different channels, because every channel is attracting the people for different reasons, and on every channel the people are hanging out for different reasons. So it's really important to change your communication, whatever you are doing there, so that you are talking to the person, like we were talking about this with Richard Thomas yesterday, that you have to communicate to your audience the way how they are communicating. You cannot force your communication on the different people, which is very important in marketing, right, KAYATTRI?
Very, very true. You see, Once we already know our target audience, like really in detail, in depth, then you will be able to find them easily on social media marketing. So the work, even in my classes, a lot of them comes with the expectation that on the first day itself, I will teach them how to do Facebook marketing. Let's run a Facebook ads. Let's start posting up on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or stuff like that. No, I don't do that. In fact, I spend a lot of hours, maybe close to like 3 4 days, to work on really giving them the clarity of social media platforms, the clarity of, sometimes from the work that we do, the race model, the suspect model, whatever that we do, they get the clarity about what they can expect from social media marketing. Once this is done, then slowly we venture into the social media platform. I introduce them a little by little on this social media platform and how they can make use of this social media platform. So the work that needs to be done is so much earlier than that. Before you start even posting up your first post on your social media platforms, there are a lot of work to be done. Identifying your customer persona, identifying their challenges, identifying their what is they are actually looking for. You see, we might have so many things that we want to tell. All right, I have my product, I have my service, and I'm so excited. In one breath, I want to tell all the things about my social media, my product, for example, right? But the question here is, your target audience, is that what they want to hear? Are they as excited as you are when they hear about your product or your service? Probably they have different challenge and they need different pain point to actually trigger it. So we need to really know them before we can present our messages, right? So that is one of the effective way of running digital marketing, social media marketing as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. So before we close the conversation, and I'm waiting for Priya to come on the stage, can you tell us a little bit more about where people can reach you? I put your name here, so search for KAYATTHRI on LinkedIn and on Facebook, and you will find her and connect with her. You can write in the comments GS 2021, and I'm sure that she will accept the connection request. But otherwise, where can people reach you? What exactly you are doing? And what are the things that they can turn you to for?
Okay, so I am very much active on my LinkedIn profile. So that is the only profile that I use for my professional um, engagement, right? So you can reach me out on with this name, what Andrea has put here, KAYATTHRI KRISHNASAMY. So this is my LinkedIn profile. And you'll be able to see my face there, I see, with digital marketing consultant. So that will be my headline, my title. So get connected with me there. I am very much involved in working with a different layer of community on delivering ideas, delivering lessons on digital marketing. So this is something that I've been doing for many years and been very actively doing since the pandemic, right? So yes, you can reach out to me, and there will be a lot of free programs available where I'm working with a few universities to deliver this program. And this is not for university students alone, but this is also for uh, general public. So get connected with me, and yeah, I would really love to help you out if there's anything that I can do in terms of digital marketing, in terms of social media marketing. Looking forward, get connected with me. Can't hear you, Andrea.
So Singfong is also saying either generates awareness, arouses interest, creates demand, audience takes action. So very nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And please a little bit talk about this until I'm trying to get Priya in the studio. Thank you very much.
No problem. So, Sinfong, what you have mentioned here is actually one of the best ways of writing content. And in fact, one of the copywriting method is IDA method. And I don't only use IDA in my copywriting. We use IDA in so many other ways because this is actually like a marketing funnel. You start with awareness, all right? You start with creating awareness where people just don't know about your product, they don't know about your service. So you start with creating an awareness, generating the awareness. And then the next stage will be on to create the interest in them when they are doing their consideration, right? Actually, in the marketing funnel, it's awareness, consideration, decision, and decision, right? So similarly, interest will be there. When you create the interest, this will actually go to the next one where they will be able, they wanted to know more about your product, where they create the demand for your product. You are actually creating a demand for your product. And finally, taking action. A CTA must be there always. What is the call to action? So do you want them to follow you, for example? Do you want them to sign up for certain things? Do you want them to purchase that, check out in the website? So what is it that you want to do? You see, IDA model is an amazing model, not only for copywriting, but also for so many other things like sales and as well as marketing funnel. So thanks for putting that info there, Sin Fong Chan. Thank you very much. You are muted, I think.
Yes,
And
sorry. I'm so concentrated on the technical issues that we had, but already fixed. So Priya is in the studio,
right.
and we will change you. You will change stage with Priya, but I will bring her up just to connect a little bit and just to have some fun. So let's just make us in a different format, and I will add her into the stream. Hi, Priya. How are you today?
Hi,
Can you
Priya.
hear us, Priya? I think she cannot hear us. I will just write into in the private chat. Okay. Today is the day when everything is working like this. So at least the audience says that we are real and it's really live. So these things can happen.
Technology. It brings you close, but at times it just try to,
Yeah, I know. So I will just ask her to try it again and log in, log out. And until then, just try to explain a little bit more about how a small medium enterprise or can use social media. Give us some tools, some steps about how they can make the best out of it.
Okay. So SMEs, for me, it's when it comes to marketing, yes, you have to like really embark on digital media already, right? Start, start slow. You can start slow, allocate the time. One thing about SMEs that I realized, right? They expect one person to do all the work when it comes to digital marketing. So digital marketing is a department by itself. So you need to allocate proper resources so that they are able to take up and run the show. All right. So we cannot expect an admin staff or an account staff to start creating content and posting up on Facebook. That is not marketing. That is just populating a page with some content. That is totally not marketing. Marketing means, like I mentioned right earlier, there's a lot of tools available. Like let's say you're taking Facebook. So you need to create content for Facebook. So you need to know where the content is coming from. Content can come from your own. You have your own content, or you can curate content. Curated content means you have content that other people already written, and you're using that and rewording it or repurposing it. Don't forget to credit the original owner. Always make sure this is a practice. Always credit the original user, and then use the content on your social media platforms. Then you need to work on the creative part in the sense of the images, the videos, the podcast that you need to create, right? So work on that as well. And there are a lot of tools. Let's say you are not a designer. There are a lot of tools that can help a non-designer to design amazing, images. Like Canva is there, Snappa is there, Gravit is there. Some more. There's a lot of new platforms that just came also, right? So we have a lot of new tools like that available. So use it. If copywriting is an issue, no worries. You also have copywriting AI tools, Shark Tool AI. There's a lot. But my advice personally, for images, you can use tools to design and all that. But copywriting must come from you. Because I've used this AI tools for copywriting. It's just like it doesn't have soul in the copywriting. It doesn't have soul in the caption, right? So use this kind of thing, and you can use some scheduling tools like Hootsuite. So you have all these tools that you can use, and the most important, I would say, the tracking tools. You have some tracking tools, listening tools like Mention and stuff, where you need to listen to the conversation that's happening. All right.
Well,
So,
I think KAYATTRI, we have to write a book about this. You
all
have so
right.
much knowledge, and I
I
think the
just keep
people
on
have to
talking.
watch this back on a slow pace and maybe even slow it down, because so much value here and a lot of tools that I'm already using, and I can just prove that this is very, very useful. What KAYATRI was saying. Let's try again, Priya, whether we can hear her. Hi, Priya.
Hi,
Hi,
Super
Priya.
good. We can hear you.
great.
Technology allowed us to meet again.
I have a very great love and hate relationship with that, So
Yeah, me too sometimes. Me too. But I'm always caressing my laptop because it's taking so much, energy to work for 6 weeks. So I'm really, really thankful for my laptop, and I'm caressing the laptop every single morning. Please, please keep it up. Please keep it up. It can happen. So I will say goodbye to KAYATRI, and we will give the
thanks.
stage to Priya. And thank you very much for the beautiful tips. And see you very soon at another session. And I
Thank you
believe
very
the
much.
audience really loved it. So thank you, Singfong, and thank you,
Thank
Jagatis,
you.
for being here.
Good luck,
I'm
good luck,
hearing it.
Priya.
Great tips. Good work.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you
Good
very
luck.
much. Bye,
Thank you
Priya.
very much.
Sorry, bye, KAYATRI. Hi, Priya. Ay, what a morning. What a morning. I hope the audience is enjoying it as much as I do.
Yes, yes. No, I've been monitoring. I kept my YouTube on, so yeah, I was like, what's going on?
So it's so beautiful to have you here again. Let me just first play the advertisement that we play all the time, because if the audience doesn't know yet, Priya is one of the sponsors of the event, and I'm super happy for her support. So let me just play the short video, and after that we are here with Priya and talking about a very important topic: importance of customer experience, companies' do's and don'ts. Very, very interesting. I'm so looking forward to it. So see you after the little short teaser. What a beautiful book, and what a beautiful person sitting next to me. So
Thank you.
let's get rolling. So what is this topic about? What would you like to start with? Maybe we could just set the definition straight about customer experience.
Yes.
What does it mean exactly, and how we can use it in our advantage?
Yeah. So, there are different definition, different people are giving. There are majority, 80% CEOs started understanding the importance of it, why it is important to give the customer experience to the people rather than just doing it's focusing on customers support or customer service. It goes very much way beyond than the customer experience. But to give you one liner, in my word, it's a proactive action which you take to create a perception you want to offer to your customer, right? What does that mean? You have to be proactively thinking about what my customer would like and what they won't like it, right? And as much as you understand and know your customer, and that comes from the communication, as much as you'll talk about is, start thinking, implementing in your business how the customer experience management works is a it's a process of serving, it's analyzing and enhancing customer interaction. It has to be implemented in your day-to-day life. It should become a business second nature. Monitoring customer touch point elevates, evaluate how each touch points are working, whether it is effective or not, whether they are getting their satisfaction by having the quick response time, better communication, transparency, reporting, whatever it takes. Just do it.
Love the points, and love the just do it. We are mentioning it so much that Nike should come and sponsor us for this event. It's a very, very good saying, I believe. Jagatis is saying hi to you. So welcome, Jagatis. It's really nice to have you here. Thank you for your continued support. It's really, really amazing that you are here at every session, and I'm really appreciating it. So we have the definition, we set it straight. And now after we have the definition, let's just go further with, is it different the customer experience for a small company and for a bigger company? And what are the different things that they have to do differently?
See, the bigger companies have already identified that, especially in this pandemic, right? So they have already identified it, and 61% businesses are already implementing it in their day-to-day life, right? They are considering actively, right? But the medium-sized businesses and smaller sized businesses are still struggling to cope up with that. And I believe it, I don't know many people if they are aware about Rich Carlton actually identified the customer experience aspect in 1800 something, when they formed the first time. Since then they have been following the customer experience, and that's where the sustainable business model is standing over 200 years, right? So it's not a new concept we are talking about. It's just that it is more in a buzz, right? It's more in an air right now, and it becomes more important than ever, right? Because your consumer is so much well aware, so much prepared for the future. It is very much important for everyone to start acting on a proactive aspect. So for me, when I talk to a couple of businesses and the customers and prospects, when I meet them, I say, what's unique in you? And they say, oh, I have a best customer service. I mean, for me, you are already not in the right path. The reason why I'm telling it, best customer service is not a new thing, and you have to give it anyway, right? It is a reactive way of dealing the customer service. Somebody asked you, you responded to that, right? That's a reactive way of doing it. But what if we will know how to react on the proactive way, right? What if I know, if Andrea is my client, what Andrea likes, how she feels, what she thinks, what is her basic criteria to work with me, right? I literally started asking this my question to my prospects and the clients, that what would you like to see change in me, what would you like to ask, and how you want me to serve you, right? When you start thinking on that aspect, customer will love it, right? Because then they will feel, oh, she's ready to adopt my way of working, not enforcing her way of working. Having said that, I'm not saying that you have to be too lenient, right? Sometimes being a authority in the expert in that, you have to come forward and formally say this is right and this is wrong. But then also it has to come up with from your research and your educated understanding, and then you give them this information. If you'll take this decision, this is how it is gonna effect. So pros and cons has to be discussed, so your client can actually take an informed decision. And if they are ready to take the risk, it should be a educated risk.
I love the point that you are mentioning, that today the customers are super aware and that they are the one who are making the choice, and
Yes.
it's not us anymore, because they are super aware, they know what they want, they are more in an adult phase, like compared before, when you could manipulate them easily and you could just push a lot of information on them and they were just falling into the trap. Like today you really have to put real value, some solution, and then anything that can help them, and they decide. It's really changing the way how marketing works, because the more people get aware, the less the marketing can manipulate. It's still possible, of course, because we are humans, but it's the power is shifting to the customer, right?
Yeah, it is already shifted, I believe, right? The power is already shifted. And since we started the whole internet world, the power has been already shifted, right? We are too late to the party. Okay. So even if we are not acting now, when? That's my question to the people. If you're not acting now, we are already late. It's like when the first time car was launched, the seat belt for the car was like came, I think, after 10 years or something, right? And by the time there were a lot of accident happen, right? Are we ready to see that those accident? No. Why can't we avoid it? Right? And that's where, and in this era, especially in this pandemic era, we realize more than ever that how important it is to keep your customer, because the people are not just going walking in the shops anymore. They are going on internet, which is like an ocean, where they're finding many people and like us. So if you're not innovating with the time, and even the customer experience, you are not innovating with the time, you're already late to the party. right? And Accenture and the big larger companies are actually not even talking about CX. They are not now talking about the BX, right? Which is more of a business experience. So when people see, like if you look at the Rich Carlton, if you look at the Mercedes, if you look at the Rolls Royce, they are business experience. They are bringing the business experience. So when you go and when you walk in the door gate, they are already serving you before you entered into it, right? And when you come out, you come up with such a great experience, you want to keep going back. And that, not only that, I'm not the customer of Rich Carlton, I'm not the customer of all that Mercedes and a big shot automobile company, but I still the perception they have created, the buzz they have created, the noise they have created, the narrative they have placed, created that perception that I perceived it in such a way that, it must be very good. I wish I can actually afford to go one night stay in Rich Carlton, right? The dream. People are dreaming for that. That's the customer business experience they are offering, right?
Love this
And that,
point. Love that you connect it with the dream. And let's talk about the most important things, the end of this title that we have here, the do's and the don'ts, because these are always important. And maybe we could help a lot of small and medium enterprises and a lot of companies here who are watching us to avoid the don'ts and to do the do's.
So before we go into that, I always, people ask why, how it matters, why it matters that I have to care about it, right? So for me, customer experience ensures your high customer loyalty and your customer retention, right? You want to give them a reason to stay with you, right? Why would you stay in a relationship which you don't like? Okay, people in a normal relationship, even parent children relationship is not stable anymore, unfortunately, but there is a little love. If they are not exchanging that, if you are exchanging hatred or you are causing trouble all the time for each other, why would you just stay in that kind of a relationship? It's not even the blood relationship, right? So my point is that it is very much important for you to keep the relationship, to build that loyalty. And as I always say, that I'm creating evangelist for you, right? The way I bring my services, I want to create an evangelist for you. So for me, it is having a customer experience does matter. And it is much costlier to keep looking for the new customer than actually retaining the existing one, right? So that's why you need CX matter, that's why you need that. And now I would like to go to the our main question, why you should, why, what is the do's and don'ts for that? So there are many, I can talk hours and days on that, but I would like to highlight at least minimum. So let's jump into the don't of CX, right? So don't of CX is they are like, we have been going in a global aspect, so when we are going in global aspect, we are also trying to understand how each different demographic and psychometrics works, right? And when you are not trying to understand, then it is gonna be a problem, right? And when you are even though you are intentionally not creating a problem, you are always create, it is still a obstacle. So for me, don't create too many levels to reach you and solve a problem. Suppose I have a problem and I go to India, and India is not solving that problem without giving me 100 other logic, then I'm already like pissed off, right? If you're giving me 100 logic, I will be thinking, oh, what the hell, I want this problem to be solved, right? So I would suggest, first of all, don't create obstacle. Listen carefully and work on the resolution, right? A lot of people are actually not paying attention to accountability, right? People are not saying, oh, it's not my fault, right? Technology has a issue. Sorry, there was a holiday. Sorry, this was the problem. There's so many problems that people avoid the accountability. They always find the excuse of avoiding the accountability. I would say take it, own it, and work on it, right? It's a very, very important for you to work on that. Why every aspects you need to think about, why would you avoid accountability and not own it and keep your customer happy? Don't appeal unprofessional, right? think professionally. How would you like to be treated? What kind of a language you will be using? What kind of a body language you will be showcasing? You know, I would say that bad behavior is zero tolerance, right? For either side. But at the same time, if you take a little ownership and accountability and work on it, in proactive fashion, there will be no trouble. Your customer will love you, and even though they will hate you, they will stay with you because they know you are a resolver, you are a problem solver. So don't focus on whom to blame. Don't blame. Don't focus on creating the obstacle. How many layers you can create? Ease the process. Make more reachable. Response as soon as possible, right? That's very much important. So don't make a like, oh, somebody will be returning back with you within a week's 48 hours of time, and then you are returning back in 1 week of time or 1 month time, God knows, right? I met a guy who said that I met another marketer, and that guy said, oh, I'll send you proposal, and it's been 3 weeks, I'm waiting. Do you think it's a good customer experience for him? I don't think so. If we promise something, must fulfill that, right? I'll come back to the more do's side, right? So it's like build a culture of customer service experience. Your company should be ready for that. Your company should prepare your team, everybody who joins. It should be part of your induction program. When they join, they should be treated, cultivated, how to do a good service, and what is our way of serving, and what is the customer behavior they are going to deal with. So not every employee is working with every client. If you are a little larger company, medium sized company, small company with the 50 plus employees, they all deal with the different customers. So tell them, okay, these are the 4-5 customers you're gonna deal. This is their behavior, this is their expectation. Create the expectation list for your employees to be ready during the induction program before they actually face to the client. Until they are ready, don't send them in front of client. I understand bosses cannot be everywhere, right? They should be, otherwise they are not leader, they are another freelancers, right? So if you want to be a leader, then you have to delegate, and if you're delegating, your team should be equipped with that, right? Equipped with all the facilities. Always follow through, right? Once you resolve it, you always go back and say, how did you find, is there anything else I can do, right? How did it go? Are you still struggling, or you are okay with that now, right? Learn about your customer, how to serve them, right? Think of a way to convince people around you why it is important, right? And so every behavior, every human touches happen in our business, in our organization, had to have a good experience. Try to exceed expectations of the people. If somebody said, I'm expecting this 10 items, go above and beyond, do 12, right? Be more than the voice of your phone, like, hello, how are you, okay, can I hold a minute, please, let me see how I can see. Go above and beyond, right? Bring some human touch on it. Take a note so that you don't forget, right? Make sure you have a good support ticket system. Have plan in a place. Does it make sense, Andrea?
It's beautiful. I believe it's again like today, KAYATTRI and you were like information sources for a lot of things, and I believe these videos have to be rewatched. So if the audio is, the audience is really not taking everything in right now because it's just so much information, I'm encouraging them to go to the YouTube and watch this back, because every single point that you made, it's really something that is useful. And if you just change step by step, one by one, every day, one thing in your organization or in your company, what Priya said, or what KAYATTRI said earlier about social media, or it will help you. You just have to implement these things. Again, I want to emphasize, whatever you hear from the experts, take at least one thing from each interview and try to implement it. Set a date and try to implement those things, because if you don't do the next step, right, then we don't get anywhere, nothing will change. And I'm really thankful for all the experts sharing here. Jenica says, like, I admire Miss Priya's ability to articulate herself so instructive. Really, really good points. I really love Priya for that too. And then we have Suraya here. Gosh, accountability is very important. Otherwise, nothing gets done. Yes, you are just confirming what we just said. We need to be accountable for ourselves and for the development that we want to see in ourselves. I'm very, very thankful for you, Priya. And just as a last note before I enter, I let Justin enter the room because he's up next with community building, which is also very important for companies to create a nice community within the companies. What would be your message, the most important thing that the companies should really focus on, if it should be one step for having a good relationship with a customer?
For me, it's just create an omni effect. When it comes to omni effect, people think about more giving the outside. People are not giving the inside of it, right? So I will say that if you think of 360-degree omni effect, and you create that culturally conditions environment, and then people follow that culture, everything will be in the right path. And what would you not do to keep your family happy? Your customers are not just somebody who's paying the bill, right? They are becoming a part of your ecosystem. They are the part of your daily survival. They are part of your sustainability business model. The dream you are living, they are the actually one who are fulfilling that. So you cannot live without your customer. Why wouldn't you not do something extraordinary to keep them happy, right? Do something about it. Act on it today.
Love it, Priya. All wisdom nuggets here. And I see Justin stepping on the right and the left feet in the studio. So I will let him in so that he can join the conversation. Let's just do a nice welcome for Justin. Hi, Justin. How are you today?
Hey, Justin.
Oh, we don't hear you. Let me unmute you. Okay, now you can speak.
Oh, it's so lovely to see you. How are you both?
We are good. We are good in the studio with happy moments all the time.
I love your sentiment that your customers are family.
Yeah, they are.
And
They
I
are
think
part
if you think about it in that mindset, what a seismic shift that has on your culture and your people in terms of the way that they act and behave.
Yeah, it defines everything afterwards.
So beautiful to have you here, Priya. We will come back with you again next week, and also for some panel discussions later. So I'm super excited for all the sessions, because you are just such a good speaker, and you can, as the audience said, deliver a lot of things in a very understandable way, and people really love it. So thank you very much. And please follow Priya. I put all the links for the websites, for LinkedIn in the comments. So make sure you are following Priya. And we are starting with Justin soon. Let me just play the little teaser again about Priya's book,
Thanks.
The Journey of Perseverance. Bye, Priya. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thanks.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, Justin. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Andrea? It's lovely to see you.
I'm good. And we are in with the third week of the Global Empowerment Summit, and it's going super well. And today I'm stoked because we have a lot of viewers. So I'm really, really happy about the comments, and they are all constructive. So I'm really, really seeing the advantage of people learning together and share what we do with all the 200 of you at the end for these 6 weeks and 4 weeks to go. Justin, how are you today? We always start with a little bit of warm up. Who is Justin? Tell us a little bit about you, and how do you feel today?
I'm fantastic. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Auckland in New Zealand. We are in level 3 lockdown, as we call it. We have been for the last kind of 9 weeks, but we're doing really well. We're fantastically busy. We've got some fantastic clients and projects that we get to work on, and we've got a little schnauzer called Zeus, who we get to take for walks twice a day. So we're doing well. They're doing well.
Zeus, like the famous book writer?
Zeus, like the Greek god.
Ah, okay.
Little schnauzer with a big personality.
That's very funny. That's very funny. I love animals, and they give us so much unconditionally. So I'm wishing that the people could be more like animals sometimes, just to give the same love and energy without any, without any expected things in return. It's just beautiful how they are. And I love New Zealand. I have been there last year. I believe, no, not last year, 3 years ago. It was so nice before all this happened around us. We don't say the C word because we don't want them to block us. But yeah, before the C word, we were there, and it's a beautiful place.
It sure is. So yeah, thanks for having me, Andrea. I am a chief marketing officer. I work freelance with software and technology companies and have done for many years now. And I guess a lot of my career has been pillared by the communities that we have created along the way, which I think's a really good topic for us today. So yeah, really excited about the conversation we're about to have and some of the insights and ideas we might be able to share with people or questions that people might have. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Me too. Communities are something that I really adore. And I'm really have to say, and I'm thankful for Edward Zia, because he's, I believe, my role model in community building. And he's just doing such a great effort. And that's how we met with Justin. That's how we connected. And if you want to check out, please go and search for Edward Zia on LinkedIn, because they are doing an amazing job in building huge communities and taking care of the community, like Priya said, as a family. So please do that. And Justin, what are your points? Like, let's go with the definitions first. What is a community? What would you define as a community, and what are the attributes of a good community?
A community is a group of people that you find a sense of identity with, that you connect with. It might be a community like your local community around where you live. Is really strong, and certainly during the last 18 months that's been incredibly important. It might be the community that you have in your apartment block, or when you go to walk your dog like we do to the beach and being able to see those people. It might be a community that you have around a passion project like photography or your art, or it could be one professionally around the type of work you do. So if you're a developer, then there are plenty of developer communities. So places that you can be, people that you can connect with that have a shared passion, that are willing to connect and engage, that are your tribe, the people that have the same problems and challenges as you do, that you find a sense of belonging and identity in.
So we have the definition straight, and you really well said that anything can be the community, even people who you are going to the cafe house every morning or every week, right? It becomes a very small community, a unity where you are sharing with each other your problems, your happy moments, and anything what is going on with you and in your life. But let's categorize the different communities in a different way. Like, there are communities for fun, right? And there are communities for business. So what is the difference, and can we make them so similar that people don't really know what's the difference at the end? Should we differentiate?
Well, is there a difference? I mean, the only difference really is the objective and the topics, per se. You might have your church group is going to be a really strong community for you, just as much as the community that you have at work with your colleagues or professionally. I think that the really key difference here is, when the likes of Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn really came to light, probably 10, 15 years ago, a lot of those communities that we had locally all of a sudden became global. And that was a really big mind shift for us. It became so much easier for us to connect with people anywhere in the world who had a shared passion or a shared interest with us. It meant that any business that we were a customer of or were interested in anywhere in the world, we could be a part of that community, or they could invite us to be part of their community. And so that the social media platforms really were a game changer. And I think that's, we've kind of gone out, and you kind of think over the last 18 months, we've kind of come a little bit back in to artisan, buy local, support your local businesses, and really thinking about, what's in our neighborhood, as much as, what's on in our LinkedIn communities to help us find work and connect with people professionally. So there's definitely a difference in, your local community and where you live, and your sense of identity there, but also perhaps online and thinking about, what's happening around the world as well.
Tell us a little bit about your experience, because you built already communities and you have so much experience there. So personal examples are always the most powerful. So how did you do? What were your communities? How did it change from the first time you tried it to the last time you did it? What were the takeaways?
Yeah, so back in 2005, 2006, I started the Wellington Young Professionals Group, which was for people like me at that time who were in their kind of mid-20s, who were in perhaps their first or second job, and they were really aspirational. They were keen to connect in with other business professionals, to learn from others, to be inspired. And we created a community that was, we had 200-300 people coming along to our events every month for after 5 drinks and speaker sessions. And, then we'll kind of jump a few years, and I'd been in San Francisco, and I'd been to a social media club event. And I thought, well, wouldn't that be amazing if we could have that in Auckland? So we created the Auckland Social Media Club. And again, we were having 200-300 people come along to monthly events that were free, to learn from other people who are running or leveraging social media for business and running campaigns and doing awesome stuff. And we had all met on Twitter. We were running tweet ups as well. We actually had the Auckland Christmas tweet up party. And so we'd all met on Twitter. And so these physical events were actually a way to put a face to an avatar, a face to a name. And, that community really still exists today. We're still very strong. We often, we'll meet up at different events, and those relationships have created, business relationships and partnerships, new businesses, marriages, babies, all sorts of things. So
I love all the points. And then you just added babies also.
Well, I'm also a part of TEDx Auckland. So if you follow TED.com and are involved with, love watching TED Talks, Elliot, a very good friend of mine, and I've been running TEDx Auckland for 10, 12 years in Auckland. And that's an amazing community, because you've got the speaker community, you've got the attendees as well. And there have absolutely been friends of ours who have met at TEDx Auckland events and now have families together. So, people do connect around not just a particular idea or a particular topic, but a curiosity to learn about something, or a passion to be inspired. And that's where people find those connections.
Jackie's saying, love the way he said it's complete the process. So it's really, really like that. And let's just go back to the things that the do's and don'ts. We were talking about this with Priya about customer experience. Are there any do's and don'ts about community building?
Well, there's plenty, isn't there? Where do we start? The do's. make people feel welcome, make people feel a part of it. The community is about them. And so the best stories that you can create, and the way to start building that, is to enable, as the facilitator of that community, to enable those connections, to help people meet each other, to share the stories of those people within your community. As a business, we look to our customers, our advocates, to share their stories, to help other people who are looking into that community to see that that's a place for them, to see, to find an identity and feel connected. You know, we look to community Facebook pages and we engage with those posts because other people we know on there have dogs and we connect with them, right? So it's about sharing those different stories. You know, communities fall over because there isn't the administrator or someone there who's the continuous conduit to encourage that activity, to be the fire starter, if you like. And then eventually it becomes takes on a life of its own, and you'll find people will start moderating and start being the fire starters themselves as it starts to grow, right? So it really is holding some true values to your community, what's important in terms of how do people engage, what types of behavior are okay or not okay, or topics are okay or not okay. I think those things are all, you know, very, very important considerations to have. But the main thing is to build community is you've got to be consistent. I guess like building a friendship. If you only see someone sporadically once every, you know, couple of months, that relationship's not going to grow very quickly, is it? But if you are engaged with your community on a regular basis, then you're in front of people, you're connecting with them, and those relationships will grow a lot faster.
I love this point, because consistent it's just makes it work, because you have to do the work. I mean, you are the community builder, you are giving the value, you cannot just take it away like very suddenly, because your community will miss it, and then after a while they will be not interested. So it's really a very sensitive process, this whole community building, and to be there for the community. Did you experience anything different in building communities offline and building communities online? We mentioned that it's super good opportunity because we can reach out of our countries and go global. But what did you experience? Which is easier from the human perspective, or where are the connections deeper? Can we do digital with human additional
Yeah,
sense?
good question, Andrea. And certainly, you know, in light of, you know, what's been happening over the last while, where events have been going predominantly online, right? So I think it is much harder to be building communities online. I mean, you can do it, and there are lots of, you know, fantastic examples like yours, which are hugely successful, that do build great online communities. It's important that they are two-way, that they're inclusive, and so that you're still doing things like this and bringing your community members into the conversation or into the boardroom or whatever that connotation might be. Certainly in my experience, I've found building communities that have a hybrid approach, so physical events as well as some digital component to that. So whether that's a LinkedIn group or a LinkedIn account or a Facebook page or a Twitter page, so that people can follow your activity online, and they have a place to tag the conversations that are relevant to that community as well. They might want to share something that they think other members of that community would be interested in. So, you know, having your at TEDx Auckland, or you know, whatever your account might be, to allow people to contribute to that, I think is really important. And you know, I've always said, I have said for a long time that, you know, it's a participation economy, right? With social media and digital marketing, the more you're participating, either as an individual, as a personal brand, or as a corporate brand, the more you're participating, the more value that you will get out of that. And And so the trick's, to find your tribe and find your niche, and to be driving that participation, right?
One more question is popping up in my head about, yes, you can do this online, you can do this offline, best is hybrid. I get so many times this feedback that everyone likes the hybrid version. They don't want to go totally personal back to the original, because hybrid is giving some advantage. If you cannot go there, you can still be part of the community. But also, when you are thinking about reaching the whole world, it's also a bit confusing for people who are building communities to help their business to grow, to help themselves to build a funnel, these kind of things. And they want everyone in that community from all around the world, and then they don't get the success what they wanted, because they want everyone from all over the world. So how would you choose locations? How would you target when you are starting to build up a community?
Yeah, that's a real challenge, isn't it? I think you start small, right? So you start with those pockets of people. It might be you've got two customers, nearby, and you start with that. Or you're starting small and then you're reaching out. How do you use your research channels, whether that's Twitter, the social media channels, to connect via a hashtag, if you like? So what are the hashtags that people who could be interested in your community are sharing content or engaging in conversations in? How can you be a part of that? So back as an example, we like examples. Back in 2009, I was with a company called Zendesk, which is a customer support platform that's grown globally. And back then we were kicking off the social media channels for Zendesk, and there was a weekly chat called #CussServe, #CussServe, customer service chat. And it was really active and still is. And it was scheduled at the same time every week, so that people around the world who are involved in the customer service world as an advisor, as a customer service agent, as a strategist, could all connect around a particular topic. And we got involved in that Twitter event, that hashtag conversation, and that helped us meet some amazing people from around the world who would become brand advocates. They would trial our products. They would allow us to introduce what we were doing to companies all over the world. And so it's thinking around what are the conversations, and again, the participation economy. Find the opportunities for you to be able to participate in those conversations that are nearest and dearest to your brand or your interest set.
Coming. So that's very, very important, the location, right? And the very close one. I believe I heard this also when I was talking to Roland from the startup community. They are doing some startup platforms, community building platform. And they said that, start small, just with the people around you, and just learn more about incubator houses and all this. And later, when you already are bigger and you have more to say, then you go to the target audience. Like if you are targeting US, then you go to US and then you search for accelerators programs there, and you build your community also there. So what do you say about this approach?
I mean, as you invite people in, as you kind of see other people talking about your topics, they'll be like, hey, Andrea, have you met this person? Or what about that person over in Finland doing some amazing stuff? Or have you met the AI guys in Canada? So AI, New Zealand.ai is another community that I run, helping business people understand artificial intelligence, right? And so all of a sudden there's this global community of people who are researching and working in artificial intelligence that we can become connected to, who are all working on the same types of problems as we have in here in New Zealand. And And again, that's, thinking about the different channels that we have, whether that's, Twitter is very international, and so therefore it's very much kind of outreach, and we're connecting with people on a global level. But that gives us introductions to people that we might want to invite to host a webinar with, to share what they're doing in Canada or the UK or wherever it is around the world with our AI economy and our AI community in New Zealand. And so that starts bringing into that international framework. Then when we do that, all of the people that are following and connected with that international expert get exposure into what we're doing and start following us as well. And we start, the network effect starts coming into fruition, right? And so that's super powerful when you start getting people introducing you or saying, hey, you should be a part of this. Come and join in is really, really important. And that's, the quality, that's showing that you're delivering value in that network, not just from an ability to introduce and connect people, but to share ideas and expertise that others are finding important, that's enriching their world.
Now it's starting to be very close to a mastermind group, what you're talking about, right? When you bring the people together and they all share their experience, and all of the people in the group can grow.
Absolutely. It's becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, doesn't it? It's if you spark an idea, generally the rule of thumb is, if you think it's a great idea, you can be sure there are going to be other people around the world who also think it's a good idea. You just have to find them and bring them in and create your tribe.
Yeah, that's a very important point. If the audience is listening to us, please support us with some yeses in the comments. We want to see that you are all here. I see a lot of people watching us, so just give us a yes or a thumbs up in the chat. And also, if you have questions, this is the time to ask. Justin is here for a few minutes more, and I would love you to ask questions about communities, about how to build communities. Annie says yes, Jack says yes. Very nice to see you here, guys. I'm really happy to have you here. Keep them coming. Keep all the yeses coming. If you are watching us, we have a lot of people here watching, so please just type yes into the comments. Justin, what would be the most important thing about communities in regards of generations, in regards of connecting generations? Would you separate communities upon the generations, like doing communities for the youth, doing communities for the wise generation, or you just would put everyone in a bundle and give them all?
So if you run a community for people that love knitting, would that only be for 60 plus people? Because I know that there are lots of 20-year-olds that love knitting and have learnt from their grandparents and are going to find yarn and create their own things. So no, I do not think that separating by age group is that good. You never know who is going to be interested in your topic or has decades of experience that they might be willing to share with young people as well that are looking to learn. So I think it's really important to be inclusive, no matter on age group or demographic or location. However, I think that's really, really important. I think one question we get asked a lot is, I run a local butcher. Why do I need to have a Facebook page and be thinking about building community? And I think a butcher is a classic example of a hub in a community. People go to the butcher once a week for their meat and produce, and that is, around that shop is a community where people will meet. They'll bump into their neighbors, and if you can extend that activity into an online framework, you get more opportunities, more frequent opportunities to message and connect with those different types, those people. But you can publish different things that you might not be able to publish in your store, like where does that meat come from? And what is the story of the farmer that is growing the cows? So you can start building up that story so people have a more, deeper connection into that product. So there's lots of different reasons. Even, it might be a panel beater. Why does a panel beater need to have a community? But there are all sorts of reasons why that might be useful, to help them grow their customer base as well.
I love this point that it reminds me of the old times, when we were just like having all the guys around us in the village. Like I'm coming from a very small town from Hungary, and we were always going to the same person who was doing our shoes and the same person in the market. And it became like part of our family, part of the routines. And it's just bringing me the question, is this possible today in today's world to do the same and have those trusted people around us in our community? And why don't we buy services from the people near us? Why do we go to Google and search for another big, company from other countries like China? I mean, why?
Look, that's probably a whole nother webinar, Andrea. But look, I think the drive back to hyper local, artesian, think local, buy local is alive and well in New Zealand, and certainly I'm sure around the world. And that's where we are looking back to some of those businesses, and a lot of those communities that you spoke about before have become hybrid. They're still there physically, but you can now connect with them in a digital way as well, which hopefully adds value and enrichment to that experience.
That's really a good tip here. So that's really a good tip. You can even, like, I love the butcher example. Like it's the same. Like I remember I had someone who was helping with the marketing actually for a customer in Australia, and he was from Australia, and he started just like a WhatsApp messaging, and the WhatsApp message was kind of introducing what the guy was doing in the cafe, what was serving today, what is the cake that they serve. And I believe the company or the bakery was in Auckland. And after they started this kind of messaging on WhatsApp, the people got interested and they went to the cafe. So it's just like such a good example that you never know what works, right?
It almost feels exclusive, right? You're part of this messaging group that's a couple of hundred people, but you're getting the information before everybody else. That's special. That's really special.
That's like the VIP experience, seeing the pizza cooking in the oven, and then, oh, I want to have that hot pizza and I want to run to the bakery, right?
Absolutely.
That gives the inclusivity. Simfong Chan is saying, besides my real world communities, Facebook has enabled me to meet people from many virtual communities.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's, one of those social networks that allows us to extend our interest graph out around the world and find people who are passionate in the same topics that we are, from different countries. And I personally find that incredibly rewarding, and meeting different people and being able to jump on a call and find out what challenges and the projects that people are working on from around the world. I just find that incredibly enriching, and it helps the work that I do and the connections that I can make in New Zealand, and or the advice and recommendations that I can give people in New Zealand, far better.
Beautiful. So I have so many questions. I could go on and on and on. And I think if you have time, I will still ask my questions. But let's just ask the audience that whether they have questions. So Jagatis, Anjali, I saw Anis here. I see Simfong. Please, shut your questions, put them into the comments, and let me ask Justin, because he's the person, the go-to person now about communities, and you can ask him so many questions. And until they are typing it in, and please do so that we see that you're interested and curious, just like we are, because curiosity is super, super important skill today, right, Justin?
Absolutely. Curiosity is one of the best attributes, I think. Yeah, absolutely.
So Justin, I don't want to take so much of your time, but I would love to ask you some more questions about the communities. If you have like around 5 minutes more, okay with
Go
you?
for it.
Okay, so the first question is like, we already talked about overlapping the distances, going global, the do's and don'ts of communities, but we didn't really talk about the tools themselves. There are so many tools out there. So what are the tools that we can use? I heard about Discord, there's Telegram, there's so many things. So what are the top 5 tools that you would recommend for community building today?
The top tool is the one where your audience is.
That's a good remark.
So if you're, and it might be, some people are not keen on Twitter. So don't build your community on Twitter. Go and look on Facebook or wherever you are, right? So I'm not huge. I don't have I'm not very active on Facebook. But I am active on LinkedIn and Twitter, and so that's where I spend most of my time. That's where I build most of my personal community, and that's where I make a lot of those connections. So it might be a case of pick one. It might be TikTok or Insta is your jam, and so that's where you invest your time. That's where you're going to build, participate in to build your community, and that's totally fine. It's find those platforms that are relevant to your topic or to your interest or to your community. Go there, or pick the one that you personally just love to be on and that you get. Make it easy, and that's probably the best place to start.
Yeah, that's the best advice I heard, because hang out where your customers are and talk to them on the way they want. Like we were talking about this with Richard Thomas, you know him, and he was saying that's exactly the case. You cannot talk to them on Facebook if they're hanging out on LinkedIn, and you cannot talk to them the same way because LinkedIn is a different community, Facebook is a different community, Twitter is a very different community. We have one question coming in from Anjali. You may have mentioned this, but how do we sustain communities? Very important question, because there are waves, but people come and go. Should you worry? How do you keep them up?
Don't stop. Keep going. Look, the same as your neighborhood, right? People move house, they leave your neighborhood, they come and go. It's important for you to, I guess like a software business, you're going to have some churn. People will leave as they don't feel connected to that. They might change jobs and be less relevant to them. That's totally fine. Your job as a community facilitator is to keep working to identify those new people, to connect them with the ones that have been with you since the start, to find those new members and get them participating in it and see how their connections help you grow as well. So, it is hard. Certainly when we haven't been able to run physical events, we've got to take everything online. It can be a lot of work. But it's important just to keep things ticking over, even if it slows down. Keep being consistent and keep being there, so that people know that you're here and they can participate as well.
Thank you very much. It was so insightful. The whole session was just full of information. I say the same this morning. My brain is like really full of information, and I'm like, all the three of you were like so many wisdom nuggets. I'm like really overloaded with information. I will rewatch these sessions, and I hope all the people who are watching us, Simfong, Anjali, Jag, and Anis, Annie also, if you want to again to learn something, watch back this 1.5 hour, because all the three speakers were giving tremendous value for us, and you have to listen and do step by step. So Anjali is saying thank you so much for the answer, and we are saying goodbye because it was already over. We already had the 30 minutes, and thank you so much for a great discussion from Anis. So thank you,
Andrea, for all your hard work, and thanks to all of you for joining in to this session. It's been fantastic to have you all here, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter, wherever you like. So nice to see you.
Yeah, so just search for the name here, Justin Fitter, on the two medias, LinkedIn and Twitter, and you will find him.
F-L-I-T-T-E-R.
F-L-I. Oh, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. Let me correct it very quickly. F-L-I. I left out an L. So until I correct the mistake, I don't let you go with the wrong name. So please tell us a little bit about what you do and for whom, so that the people can really target to your services or anything what you offer. Where can they find you, and what do you do?
So you can find me at justinflitter.com. I am a virtual CMO. I work with software, technology, and professional services companies on marketing strategy and operations. Most of them will be based in New Zealand, selling into North America or into the UK, but I have worked a lot with international businesses as well. I run the New Zealand Tech Marketers Group. I run newzealand.ai, and I also help Elliot and the team run TEDx Auckland. So you can connect into any of those different platforms. Yeah, I'm here. I love to meet and connect with people around the world to share ideas and have a chat and find out about what's happening in your world and your community. That's really important for me too. So yeah.
Thank you. Annie's saying great insights. Thank you very much. Jagatis is saying thank you, Justin. So everyone liked the conversation. I corrected the mistake. And you can also see Justin here. I put the LinkedIn link into the comments. And please just search for his name here. Corrected with FLI. Twitter, building communities. So that was the topic today. And I'm really thankful for you. I know that you are super busy, and it was a great conversation. Have an amazing day in New Zealand. Make sure you are keeping safe. And yeah, I'm really, really thankful for having you here today.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Cheers, Andrea. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye, Justin.
Bye.